She's the key to this case.
I'm not sure I've ever met a man quite like you.
Let me clear up the uncertainty for you. You haven't.
What I've always loved about the character Johnny English is that for as bumbling and or inept as he may be, he's very skillful. Are there times during the whole process where you said, we gotta tone it one way or the other more?
He's brave. He's strangely brave. He's very determined. But his fundamental flaw is his arrogance, really, his belief that, that he's better at the job than he actually is. And what we enjoy as the audience is him falling short of his ambition. He thinks he's this good when in fact he's only this good, and sometimes even worse than that. But the weird thing is that when he fails and he looks, whereas most of us would feel great shame and would feel very foolish for having thought that we could do something and then we fail to do it, Johnny, for some reason, just seems to brush himself off and say, well, of course, what I really meant to do was this other thing. And then he goes marching off and tries to do something else, which, again, normally he will stumble at that hurdle as well.
Of course, you get Ben Miller back in this one. What's it like having him, coming on team again?
Yeah, it's fantastic, actually. He and I get on so well, both on and off screen. There's a very lovely, warm sort of comic empathy which we have. We just know how to be with each other, particularly on screen, and that relationship is very rare. It's very, very difficult to find that with you may call it a straight man, but I prefer to call him a partner, a co-performer, because it is a double act. I mean, there may be one half of the double act may be more prominent than the other, but still it relies on a connection, on an ease of being with each other.
Well, I think it's very strange because I'm somebody that I think I probably should have been born British. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube that I can't get here. And people outside the UK, specifically in the US, don't realize that Ben's is just as big a star as a lot of the other talent you have in the movie.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Well, he was in a double act with Alexander Armstrong and Miller, and he's a very funny guy. I mean, in a very distinctive way. But yes, he is a man of significance in the UK.
And some of the other people, of course, the significance you have Emma Thompson here with, you have Olga Kurylenko. As these movies come on, you bring more people on. Is it easy just to feed them into the world as well?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, as long as you write the script well and they can see themselves playing the part. I think Emma is very striking as the Prime Minister, because you think actually she is very good as a Prime Minister. You can absolutely see it, can't you? She would be terribly good. But it's the side of Emma which has been seen quite a bit in movies, but not because she's such a good actor, such a good serious actor, that you forget that she's got a very good comic sense.
Now, of course, everybody knows you're a big car enthusiast. So when it comes to these movies, it's like, let me have a little say in what I'm driving.
Yes, I'm afraid that I do, and I like doing so. The car, the big red Aston Martin in the movie is my car. I bought it about 6 months in advance of the movie, thinking that it could be useful in the film, and so it turned out to be, and I think it looks great, actually. Good, a bright red Aston Martin in the south of France. Says hello, doesn't it? It definitely says something. And I like, and always with car chases, which are obviously very, very much a staple of James Bond movies. But because this is a comedy franchise, that we always try and give the car chases a twist. Something goes wrong. Something usually based, as is always the case with a Johnny English movie, on Johnny English's smugness and belief that he's got it sorted. Don't worry, all I got to do is chase that car and it'll be fine. And of course, it doesn't go according to plan.
Talking about, again, going back to the arrogance and smugness per se, a lot of people are going to remember you from certain things. I'm always a big Blackadder fan.
Right.
And I love the idea of Edmund as that more of a snide character. Yes. Johnny is nicer.
Yes.
Than that, but do you ever want to play maybe more of that snideness out in something like this?
There were some scenes, actually. There's a scene towards the beginning of Johnny English Strikes Again where Johnny is trying to get a gun, where he's just given a phone, and he says, well, actually, I'd quite like a gun, in the traditional way. And that scene was much longer and actually was quite a bit more snide and sort of sharp from Johnny English. He was a bit more Blackaddery. But actually, it didn't seem to fit. That wasn't what we wanted, because Johnny, I think, is a nicer guy than the Blackadder. The Blackadder is really a relentless cynic